Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Module 2 of Lesson 2. Once again, my name is Emmanuel Edward, and I'll be taking you on this course. In this Lesson 2 of Module 2, we'll be talking about how to build or develop what we call software requirement specification. This will enable you to guide your AI on how to build the exact software you really want to build. All right, we're going from just talking to the AI to thinking like a real software developer. All right, we are not just prompting, we are developing a standard document that is used in building real software. So in this lesson, you will learn how to Number one, use AI to generate a complete software requirement document. Number two, you will understand how the software requirement specification guides your project structure and the entire development process. All right. Then number three, you also practiced prompt engineering to make the AI act like your project analyst and technical writer. All right. So the AI will be able to analyze what you are building. It's not just building it. It's able to do analysis to plan with you. All right. Understand? It has full depth of the entire project because you have given it sufficient information. Number four, you'll be able to use the SRS document to start building your real software. All right. So what we are developing is actually used by developers to not just guide them in building. This document is read by all stakeholders that surround the entire software development project, from investors to marketers, developers, startup founders, whoever is part of that project, including end users. They must be part of the requirement software specification document. All right, so by the end of this lesson, you'll know exactly how to take a raw idea and convert it to a professional development plan that AI can execute from start to finish. Okay, so what is a software requirement specification, SRS? By definition, a software requirement specification is simply a blueprint, all right? A blueprint of your application or intended application. You have not built it, but it has that guide, that architectural guide that shows exactly what you are going to build it, and it's usually very detailed. So it describes what the software will do, how it should behave, what features it should include, and what technologies will be used. All right? Normally, in traditional software engineering, developers spend days writing the SRS manually. All right? They go around asking questions, from users, asking questions from marketers, from investors, what they expect to see in the system that is to be built. Series of meetings upon meetings will be done, surveys will be gathered, and a whole lot of stuff, all right? It's usually a very bulky, very tasking process. But once you get that SRS right, I can guarantee you that you may likely come up with a robust product that represents the interest of every stakeholder in the projects. But with AI, you can now generate a professional, complete, and structured SRS using just a well-written prompt. You don't need to go around, asking people questions and all those stuff. You can use AI to elicit the ideas of all the stakeholders that you would have probably needed to ask questions physically or in meetings, So the role of AI in SRS creation Let's talk about that. AI's tools like Lovable, like Cursor, Rock, Replete, ChatGPT, Rocket.new, Dreamflow, and others can act as both your business analyst and system architect. When you give them the right prompts with proper context, as we discussed in the previous lesson, they'll break your idea into modules, will define features, they will give you user flows, database structures, and even suggest technologies to use. All right, they will suggest everything you need to use. We'll do that shortly, and you see what ChatGPT will generate for us. We will be looking at building, let's build a school portal for a secondary school, right? Let's do a school portal for a secondary school. Now, the magic is in how you ask the AI to develop that document, how you prompt it, right? I believe by now you know exactly how to prompt, how to bring in context into your prompt. They are not just throwing words. You have intention, you have created an environment that surrounds that project, and you communicate same to your AI application. So how to generate an SRS document using AI prompt, all right? So I'm going to look at it step by step. Number one step is define the role. Define the role. For example, you tell the AI something like, you are a senior software engineer and a system analyst with expertise in web and mobile application. Have you seen that? That's that's a step towards getting a good SRS. All right. Now, step two, you must state the project objective. Project objective is what will give direction. It gives direction. It defines where you are going to. So you tell the AI something like, excuse me, I want to build a food delivery web or mobile app. Or let's say I want to build a fintech application. I want to build a school portal, a school management system for a secondary school that helps students to print results and allows the school administration to manage student data, set exams, manage finance, and several other school school portal functionality. So you state everything there, not everything because you won't be able to state everything, all right? Just state a few important features. By that, you have given direction to the AI. You have specified the objective of the application to be built. Then number three, step three, you add context and expectations. Context and expectations. Something like you can say something like generate a detailed software requirement specification for this project to include, you now give it kind of outline, but the outline usually is not compulsory because that's the duty of the AI to actually give you those details, right? We are going to do it shortly. You can say, give me the following: project overview, functional requirement, non-functional requirement, user rules and permissions, tech stack, that is the technology stack that you want that AI application to use in building your software. You can also talk about database schema. All right, the suggestion, you ask him to include the database schema suggestion. All right, if it's an application that will involve payment, that is payment gateway, you can tell your AI you can talk about those integrations, the kind of integration you want to bring in. Maybe you're going to use a resend API for sending of mails. You're going to use a Google map. You're going to use a Paystack or Flutterwave for payment. So you mention all possible. You ask the AI to include all those integrations. We may not need a map API for a school portal, right? But we will need payment gateway. We will need emails. So we're gonna mention that and ask the AI to include those details. Then considering step 4, your set output format. How do you want the SR to come? Do you want it in a well-structured format with clear section headings? You use bullet points. Let it be in a PDF or in a Word document. So by the time you set out the output format, the AI will be able to come up with something reasonable that you will now supply to, you now use it, it now becomes your context. You know, the purpose of creating this SRS document is to use it as our context in actually building the software. All right, it helps you to plan, all right, to plan the entire software and all that. All right, so put it on DND. Okay, so let's continue. Let's use ChatGPT. As we want to build a school portal right now, we are going to develop a standard SRS for that project. All right, so I'll start by saying you are a senior software, or let me say full stack developer. Build me. Okay, we're not actually building here, so I won't say build me. Develop, right? ChatGPT is just going to assist us to create the SRS. We now take it to the AI that we'll be using to build, which is likely going to be, we are going to use Lovable for the UI. We're going to use Lovable. Lovable is good with generating very beautiful UI, user interface, what the people will see, all users will see, all right? And the experience they will have by seeing those things and interacting with them. So we are going to use ChatGPT for developing the SRS. We use Lovable for doing the UI. We will then use Cursor, Cursor, to build the functionalities, the back end. All right. So that is how the flow will be as we progress. So let's start. You are a senior full stack developer. Write me an SRS documents. He already knows what an SRS is when it has to do with software. Type an SRS document to view, I can say for the development of the Nigerian, that's context, secondary school portal. I will allow students to have a profile. You will just be as plain as possible. You don't need to go look for grammar and technical terms. Just be as plain as possible. All right. But bringing in technical terms will also make it more advanced. But even if I stop here, maybe mention management, school management, you have full control, or will be the super admin, control, being the admin, so super admin, okay, having super admin privileges, school management will be, let me change it to be, okay, we'll have full control, being and given admin super admin privileges to manage users, finance, hostels, attendance. Just thinking of every possible thing that can happen in the school software. I don't need to mention all. I'm just picking whatever comes to my mind that I can remember. It's not compulsory, you know all this, right? The purpose of even doing this is to get these features because you didn't know it. That's why you are here. All right. So whatever you can mention, you stop at that and AI will do the rest. So let me stop at that. ETC. parent, parent and teachers will also have their profiles, so dashboards to perform their respective functions, develop the SRS, and ensure it contains all possible features of a standard school management system or portal. Anyway, that is that. Let's see what will come out of this. So ChatGPT will think and pull out exactly what I need to build this software. Okay, so it's thinking, right? See that? Let's just go what else? So scroll through. So you see that it outlines it. It gives me the scope. All right, it pulls out all these things. See that? Still writing. I'm going to assume you actually have this project to deliver to a client, right? So the first step is to do this when you are paid for that project and you really want to build it, develop an SRS. Except maybe it's just a small front-end static website, like a company website, all right? You don't need to go through all this stress. But when you have something that may become complex, like such as this, it has a back-end database, users, you need to do this so that you have a full scope of what you are paid to. You can stop me out here. Okay, so it's asking to leave. What I will do, maybe let me just go copy the prompt. So I'm going to copy that prompt, then refresh the page. No, it's not allowing me to. Okay, so just refresh the page. Maybe something is wrong somewhere. I'll refresh the page. Okay, so the content is still there. See now, it's adding things I never mentioned, transport, communication. Now, if you realize that it's giving you too much than beyond the scope of what you want to build, all right, you can actually reduce it, remove whatever is not necessary. Usually, once I finish developing an SRS like this, I usually sit down and go through it, right? I think it's some things are missing. In the middle read down. Okay, so let me assume that that thing is complete. So I will just copy it and maybe take it to let me take it to Lovable and paste it there. Whatever, I will go through it actually before I paste it. I have to read it. Let me see what Lovable can do with what I have so far. I'll read it and try to remove whatever is not necessary. Because you can see this is almost 16 sections. So you'll definitely see what you don't need. Because ChatGPT to the over two. I'll give you the one where you need. We'll give you the one. So I will go through anything I don't need. All right, I will just remove it. Now that Nigeria that I added there, I just wanted to format things as if it's a Nigerian school. Okay. Analytics, audit trials, very important. So, okay, let me see this. Acronyms and innovations. Now, this is the kind of document that we share to all stakeholders of the software. All of them will sign and they approve that the developers can go ahead and build following this blueprint. So that tomorrow you will not come and say, this is not what I wanted. You have signed it, right? You have to sign it, whether physically or digitally, that this is the software to be built, or the developer can proceed. Now, there is a standalone web application designed to be hosted on that information is not necessary. All this listing of the hosting companies is not necessary. Schools and requiring local hosting. Yeah. Follow a modular architecture to enable feature and all of that. Okay, super admin, they now begin to list users based on their roles. We call it, there's something we call role-based access control, RBAC, role-based access control. So each of these users will log in, like when they log in, they see their own dashboard different from the other users. Right? So it begins with knowing who are the users. You can see the admin, the super admin, the teacher, the principal. But I don't need all this. I don't need all this, that's the truth. Well, let's just keep it for purpose of building. For instance, if I want to build a system like this, I will need the student, I'll need the parent, I'll need the teacher, I'll need one admin. That's the principal. I don't need to come here and put principal, head teacher again. Then I may need a finance officer. That's all. The rest are out. Hostel manager, I don't need it. Librarian, well, if they really want to do their library stuff online. Transport manager, counselor, may not need them. So it now specifies the operating environment. All modern web browsers should be responsive design. Responsiveness means it should be able to load properly without cutting off any part on any kind of device, any kind of browser. All right, from desktop to laptop to tablet to mobile browsers and to Chrome and every kind of browser. Right, so that's what we call responsiveness or mobile first design. Your design should be responsive because people are mostly using mobile than even laptops now. All right, so building for laptop without considering mobile is archaic, is old. Nobody does that anymore. So backend, RESTful API, GraphQL, all these are application. API means application program interface. It's telling us the backend, it's suggesting different backend programming languages that we will use. All right. So in this suggestion, you can't use all of them at the same time. It doesn't make sense. Django, Laravel, Node.js/Express, they are all doing the same thing, but in different ways. All right. The Lovable that we are using, or maybe we can actually use any of them if we are building the backend with Cursor, because Cursor can code any language. All right. So, but for the scope of this course, we are going to use Node.js/Express. We don't even need Express, so let me remove it. Node.js is okay. All right. So then for database, all right, we are using PostgreSQL on Supabase. All right, it's built into Supabase. We can use any other one, but for the scope of this course, file storage cloud, all right, integration, payment gateway is there, SMS and email, we'll need that. Optional biometric, well, it depends on the kind of hardware that the school has. So this is not so important for now, you know. Okay, this is for attendance, for capturing attendance. Well, if the school is ready for that, you can add it, but if not, you remove it. But let's just leave it there. So design and implementation, you see everything is specifying. Some of these things are just standards that you may not really understand what it is, so you leave it. Schools provide identity documents and blah, blah, blah. Functional requirements, authentication, just allow this ones. This is multi-factor authentication, email, OTP, and sensitive roles will require biometric, all right? So all that has to be built into the system. This is the RBAC that I was talking about for role-based access control. Okay, session management. All these are technical jargon that you may not want to bother yourself around about. All right, this is for database. CRUD means create, read, update, and delete. So user management will have to involve ability to create account, read data from the database, update data in the database, and also delete data, right, of users. And admin should be able to do all that. So I wouldn't have to go through it one by one, but I'll just scroll quickly through it. It's not stating the features of each account or each role, what each role should be able to do. Library management, what they will do. Transport management, what they will be able to do. Reporting, analytics, what that feature is all about. Document, security, very important. It has to be secured. We'll talk about security later. Okay, backup, integration and APIs. All right, help and support. Scalability, it should be scalable. Security, very important. Usability, the UI has to be slick. And I love Lovable for making good UI, even though they are not very good with backend. I do my backend with Cursor. Though I've done the backend with Lovable before, and it's actually deployed online. Okay, so having seen all this, all I need now is to do my first iteration. Now, why do we have to give all these things to the AI, all this information? Some people will always argue that, oh, you don't need to give all this. You just build step by step. You type the first small prompt, type the second small. Look, I'm telling you from experience, you need to give that AI an overview, a context, the entire picture of what you are building. That is why we do this first. After it has gotten the first background, detailed information of what you intend to build, can now be prompting it line by line, task by task, step by step. But this one is what set the pace for the entire, okay, I've seen something mobile. We're not doing mobile yet. So, okay, this is future for the future, but I don't need to tell all people about the future. I can remove it. E-learning, parent portal, payment split, and stuff like that. So these are what the AI ChatGPT considered as advanced features, right? So and so you put them for the future. Okay. So scrolling down, you can see more things. All these are not necessary. But let's just allow it to be there. Okay. So we pay by senior. We need that. Okay. Okay. So let me even see if I have prompt in this account. Okay, I have 5 prompts just to show you the UI. After that, we move to the next lesson. Let me show you the UI. So I've sent the prompt to Lovable. It will take me in and create a new project. Okay. So our project has started. This is the prompt we wrote. You can, let me just give you some briefs about this interface once again, while that thing is building. You can do this sidebar and it will show, it will take off that area that we were prompting, that prompting area. You click it again, it comes back. All right. Then let me go close in case it wants me to do database things. So this one will definitely involve the use of a database. Okay, so it asks me, do you want to enable cloud? Well, since this is not an actual project, I will allow it. But if I wanted to actually build something commercial for my own client, I wouldn't use, I told you my experience with their cloud database before. I didn't quite like it because they don't allow you to have the control that a developer should have, right? So you have to just click allow so that you can go through. You don't click that allow, you'll be stopped, they won't do anything further. All right, so while it is still building, you need to also see this is a history button. You know, when you are developing, every task, like you can revert or you can reverse or undo a particular task that you already did. Okay, you can undo whatever you already did. So you come to history, and we don't have an history yet for this project. If not, all of them will have been listed here. And you can restore an older version of what you had built. Maybe in a newer version, you made a mistake. You did something, and so that thing doesn't really sit well with you. You don't like it. You just come here, click it, and go back to the previous version. All right. So everything is still building. Once it change to an arrow, you know it is done with the building. Okay, so in this plus sign, you can see analytics, people that have visited your site. You can see cloud, this is where that database is usually is. All right. You can see code, where you can edit this code manually. If you know how to code, like me, I do edit the code. I just get in there and do what I really want to do. If what they did for me was not really the way I liked it. All right. But if I have prompts, I don't go to code. I can still prompt it to give me exactly what I want. All right. So uh, security. Yeah, they also have this feature to set up security for your project. Speed can monitor and improve your site speed. But all these things, except these two, these three, one, that is analytics, security, and speed only works when you have actually published that project. You are done with it, you have published it. All right. So that is that. So that is that. That is that. What else do I need to show? Okay, here in this place is where you see all the pages that has been built by the AI. All the pages that are in this project. Once you click it, you see them listed. We are just starting, that's why there's nothing here. All right. Here, you click here to see your project, preview your project in a new tab after you have finished it. Then here you can invite collaborators, other people that are unlovable to come and join you in this project. If I wanted to use Supabase, instead of this, they are cloud database. This is where I will click. We'll do that eventually, not on this particular one. I just wanted to show you SRS here. All right, so this is where you take your project to GitHub. This is where you upgrade your account to Pro. This is where you publish your project and give it a name. All right, so that is that. Um, this course was for SRS, not really for building, but I will show you what we have built in the next class. So I'm going to continue while I end this lesson here. The next class will continue from there and actually build some stuff. All right, so see you in the next lesson.